Hello. Take two. We're gonna excuse me, we're gonna do a shoot function. You right click in your content browser, go to input, add an input action called shoot, or we can call it fire weapon. Go to the input mapping context, add a mapping. It's fire weapon. I'll type in left mouse button. I want to activate this through the player character. Event action shoot. Input action shoot. What about fire weapon? Okay, fire weapon. Say we didn't have this. I'll show you. So we need to get a reference to the weapon that's in our hands. We need to be able to access that. So if you get this return value, which is an actor return value, based on the spawned class, I spawn what I set in this variable in this class, and it comes out as an object that I attach as an actor, an object actor. It comes out as an actor. It's an object of the spawned class. There's an actor. If you look here, weapon parent BP object reference, but it's an actor. Sometimes it just says actor, but this is a specific reference to a class that's object as a spawned actor when I spawn the class. There's other ways to think about it, but it does come out as an actor. And if I right click this, I can promote the variable. I can call it current weapon. It's the current weapon and it's a reference. So I get the current weapon reference. I have that here. It'll just come off there. Connect that to your target. When I fire, I want to get the current weapon reference. We don't need this. I want to see if it's valid. So when I press the left trigger, the left mouse button, I want to see if I do have a weapon that can fire. If it's valid, I would want to. I've learned to put the fire function in the weapon. So let's go to the weapon. I want to go to the weapon parent. The children can be controlled with the parent. Off event begin play, I want to cast to player character. I want to get the player character. I want to right click and create a reference. It comes out as player character. I have that here. I want to create a custom event that I can call from the character blueprint over to the weapon parent blueprint called shoot. This is shoot. I have this function called line trace shoot. We can do that again here. Line trace fire weapon. In player character, now that I've created that custom event called shoot, I can find it. It's shoot. Target is weapon parent BP. I plug the target, the current weapon reference, which is weapon parent BP object reference. The target is weapon parent BP object reference. If I leave it blank, it says self, and it is not the player character reference. The player character does not contain this version of shoot. This is fire weapon, this is shoot. We can call this fire weapon. Here's fire weapon. If I have a weapon, if I press the left mouse button and I have a weapon that can shoot, or if I have a weapon spawned in my hands, call this event, and I want to line trace fire weapon. I need the player character reference we created. I need to get the player character camera that we created and called player character camera. Scroll to the bottom, you can get it. We need the location to tell the trace, which is a line segment in space that can intersect with objects if they're designated to intersect on the same channel, which I have set to visibility. That's by default visibility for a line trace, I believe. I want to get world location of the camera. I also want to get world rotation, so I can tell which rotation the line direction to project forward in. Get world rotation, so it's the forward rotation. Get forward vector. So once it knows to go forward and has a unit vector, I want to multiply that. Convert the pin to a float by right-clicking it. Going to convert pin and float. This number will be how far the bullet travels, the projectile travels forward. You want to add that to the location so that it spawns with the offset of the beginning of the camera. I want to create the line segment now, the sphere trace. Be a line trace, be a sphere trace. Create a sphere trace, you can make it bigger or smaller. 1 is a size 1, 2 is a size 2. 1. The location is where I want it to begin. And the rotation's forward vector multiplied by a scalar added to the offset of the beginning location is where I want it to end. If I create the beginning of the function, the execution pin, we'll activate that. And trace channel visibility, trace complex, actors to ignore. I can ignore self. I can get the player character. I can plug it in, make an array, and ignore myself. I can ignore the get instigator. I can ignore get owner, but when I go to the player character, if I go to attach weapons, there is no owner. I want to be the owner. Player character is the owner. I can get the owner. I can ignore the owner. I can add a return node. If I go to the gun, well, let's test this. If I go to the out hit and split it, so it's a split struct pin. It's a struct because it's a data bank almost. I don't know what you want to call it, but it's a hub where you can retrieve multiple points of data that are categorized and organized. So I can output the impact point. I can output what I hit, the actor. I can output the component that I hit. I can output if it's hit at all. If it's a hit at all. So I can move these so that it's more organized. If I go back to the event graph outside of this fire weapon, line trace fire weapon, here it is, and I can apply the damage. Apply damage. Attach the execution pins. The out hit actor, you can go to damage actor. Base damage, I have as weapon damage here. If we delete that, I can right click base damage so that this variable is created but also attached to this in the weapon and in every child that runs that has this as a parent. I can call this weapon damage so that every child can have their own weapon damage. Event instigator. I can get the owner. No. I can get instigator controller. Damage causer is weapon parent is this. This is the gun. I can go into the assault rifle. I can go to the cog icon. I can click show inherited variables. By default, it's set to false. When I do that, I can get the weapon damage. If that's not here, I can't get that. That's only set in the parent. What did I inherit from the parent? I got as player character, a player character reference, and weapon damage. I set this here to 11. It's by default 0. This is the take 2. So here it's 11. If I go into the pistol, it'll be weapon damage. Here it is here. I can make this maybe 11 or 12. 12 or 10. 10. I'm on 5. I guess 7 or 6.5. And then when that applies damage, when this pistol or this assault rifle runs this fire weapon function, and the line trace that comes from the character's camera when this current weapon is in their hand, the line trace that comes from the center of their camera will damage the actor that the line segment intersects with within 1500 Unreal units or 1500 units. I think it's centimeters per second. Centimeters, which is, I forget the conversion to Unreal units. I think one Unreal unit is 2 centimeters. I forget. We can draw debug type, we can do duration so we can test it. And if we press start, we can test it. Okay, so here's the line. Comes from the center of our screen. That's a lot of bullets. You go into the player character. You gotta do once so that it only you can control the flow by activating a do once and then resetting a do once. I can press D on my keyboard for a hotkey and left click or type delay. I make this a second. Reset it. So every second, do once resets. I can make it 0.5 seconds, and I can shoot twice a second because every half a second resets. I can make it 2 seconds, so I can shoot every 2 seconds. I can make it 0.33. We change the weapon. Pistol. Still comes from the center of the screen. Still works. In the next video, we'll switch weapons. Thanks for watching.